jumping Jehoshaphat. Welcome back to On the Bench with Beeks. Are you guys surprised to be hearing us so soon? Well, we are too. I am your humble host, the one that's on the roast, Cody Beekman, and I'm here with Daniel First Rady Beatty.
How you doing, everybody? Thanks for joining us today.
So we actually decided to do an extra little episode just because all the award finalists for a lot of categories have actually came out. So we decided to do a quick little recap and tell you guys how we feel.
Heck yeah, we didn't want to do our guests disservice, and we don't want to do these awards disservice, so here we are to talk about that.
And we're not going to have the Hockey Day in history, but I do want to say something real quick. And I think you guys might know what it is. It is Peter Forsberg's birthday.
Oh, baby. And for those of you watching our YouTube channel right now, Cody is wearing an amazing jersey. Oh, my God. Tell him about the jersey you've got on right now to celebrate this bad boy that we all love.
Well, this thing, oh, my gosh, I'm gushing just even wearing it. It was supposed to be the Quebec Nordiques jersey for the 1995-96 season.
Yeah, and we're talking Wolf. We're talking shoulder patches with the fleur-de-lis.
It's so freaking silky, man. I had to get it. I had to. And I mean, with my boy Fopa on it. So, well, I would like to say this. This little mini episode, I guess, is dedicated to Fopa.
Let's go, buddy.
Gratis por Fodelsidologen to Peter the Great. So let's move on to breaking down these awards, and I think we're going to tell you a little bit about what we think and who we think is going to actually take it home. So for the first one, we got the Norris Trophy.
All right.
The Norris Trophy is awarded annually to the National Hockey League's top defense player who demonstrates throughout the season the greatest all-around ability in that position. So, our nominees are John Carlson, Victor Hedman, and Roman Josi. All right, Daniel, what do you think here, bud?
Okay, well, I think we got Roman Josi deservingly nominated. John Carlson, a year late, probably will win it this year. Victor Hedman, man, that guy will be nominated for as long as he wants because he's a spitting image of Nicholas Lidstrom, in my opinion, in terms of the value that he brings to a team in both dimensions of the ice. So it's hard to know who's going to take it away this year. I feel like Carlson's more like maybe we should give it to him this year because we kind of screwed up last year because he had a dark horse amazing season last year.
Oh, agreed.
And then Hedman, I think, is like not going to get the attention maybe he deserves because he's like a perennial contender. But he's I'll never argue against Hedman, man. That guy is incredible. So, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence about who I think it's going to go home to. What about you, Cody?
Well, I totally agree about that sentiment. I mean, like, with the Norris Trophy, it's almost like every year it's like, well, we had to give it to the guy who we snubbed last year. So, unfortunately, the way I've seen the Norris go is that the more offensive defenseman normally gets the nod. So I definitely see Carlson taking it home. But I mean, if you really want me to break it down to see who I'd like Roman Josi.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely solid all the time. I mean, a young captain, a young guy still. And he really shores up that back end in Nashville.
He does.
So it's probably going to be Carlson, but I'd probably take Josi if it was my opinion.
And here's something I want to bring into attention to people right now. Tampa Bay is really good every year. Nashville is really good every year. That GM Dave Coyle, think about the kinds of people he drafts and why he's been the only GM in history. You're talking like deals with Shea Weber. He's brought in PK Subban, then got rid of him. Like, this guy knows it's important to have a good guy on the back end, and Josi has filled in those skates really well over the years.
Oh, incredibly so.
And I also completely agree with you that you're actually touching on a nerve you don't know about, but maybe we need to save this for a different episode because I can break it down as well. But there needs to maybe be an award for shoot, if we have the Selke for best defensive forward, why don't we have a Norris-like award for best defensive defenseman? Because you're right, Cody. It always goes to the guy that has the most points. They don't talk about Corsi and plus minus as much as they should compared to points.
Oh, agreed.
So it's a weird award. It's like you've got one for the forwards in Art Ross for most points. You've got one for the forwards in defensive forward capability. But when it comes to the defenseman, you only give it for the best defensive defenseman, which is really offensively oriented.
Yeah, I agree. Why not make a Bobby Orr award?
Thank you,
For the
because
most offensive
that is
defense.
exactly what it should be called. There's no one that's ever going to win the Art Ross Trophy as a defenseman ever again. We got close a little bit last year. There was flirtations with Carlson at one point, but that guy, holy smokes, name the Bobby Orr Award after the defenseman who goes after the most points, and then I don't know, who do you, David Langley Award for like best defensive defenseman?
Right, yeah.
Like stay-at-home defenseman brought to you by Quicken Loans Rocket Mortgage
Right?
every
Oh my
year.
gosh. Make it happen, Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly.
That's right.
Oh man! All right, so let's move on to the Jack Adams.
Okay.
Now, the Jack Adams is awarded annually to the National Hockey League's coach, adjudged to have contributed. I always mess up. Contributed the most to his team's success. So our nominees are Bruce Cassidy from Boston, Alain Vigneault from Philadelphia, excuse me, and John Tortorella in Columbus. Who do you got and why?
Okay, so I'm a Canucks fan for those of you who don't know. So there's a couple people in this nomination right now where it's like Alain Vigneault all day, every day. Thank you very much. Please come back and coach us. And then it's like, I hate you, Tortorella, because like all you did when you were a Canucks coach is like run Luongo and other stars out of town. And here's the thing I'll say about Torts that I like. If that guy shoots from the hip, he tells you how it is. If you buy into the way he plays, people seem to respond to that.
Absolutely.
So I like his chances. That guy has done amazing things in Columbus. I don't understand his coaching style. I don't have to, but it's proven to be successful in some places as well as others. But I like Alain. I like Vigneault a lot this year. That guy has made all of the moves that they've made all the moves at the GM level finally make sense now at the coaching level. Like you're finally seeing these aggressive moves in the offseason pay off because you have Sean Couturier turning into a Ryan Kessler-like player.
Oh yeah.
And so you're seeing this influence happening in Philly, and so I'm proud of Alain a lot. Who do you like?
I'm going to have to say Alain as well. I mean, when you really go look at it, I mean, last year was a down year for Philadelphia. It was, I mean, that's just kind of how Philadelphia is. You know, they're up one year, down the next year. But I mean, I got to agree. I mean, yeah, the GMs made a lot of really good moves, and I mean, Alain really stuck to these guys and had a huge effect on in the locker room. And I mean, on NHL Network, they had that special with the Flyers for training camp, and how vocal and right from the start Vigneault was from day one, coming in and setting an incredible precedence for a lot of these new guys, a lot of different kind of guys coming in the locker room, and to get to where they are now, I got to say Vigneault as well.
Right.
And Bruce Cassidy, he probably could have won it last year.
Yeah, is he the Victor Hedman of like the annual Coach of the Year now?
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I mean, Boston Bruins coach, obviously. I mean, how many?
I think he could. I think he should have won it last year.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I really did, but I really think it's Alain's the season this year.
I mean, it's all awarded based on regular season merit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's kind of impressive if Philly gets far this year, because that would be taking the Canucks to the finals, taking the Rangers to the finals, and taking the Flyers to the finals. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm saying like this guy's no slouch.
No, absolutely
So,
not. And I mean, I've liked him everywhere he's gone. You know, in Vancouver, in New York. I mean, Alain, he has an incredible coaching style, and it shows no matter where he goes. Where I see Torts falls short.
mm,
You know, and I mean, yeah, and I'm not diminishing Torts' achievements or anything like that. He's done incredible things in Columbus, but I think it's Vignal's to take.
Well, Charles Vigneault.
Oh, that night. All right, so next we are moving on to the Hart Memorial Trophy. This award is voted on members of the Professional Hockey Writers Association and is given annually to the NHL player voted to be most valuable to his team. And just like the Ted Lindsay Award, it's Leon Draisaitl from Edmonton, Nathan MacKinnon from Colorado, and Artemi Panarin from New York.
Yes, it is, and that's pretty common to see that be the same. So I mean, are the writers going to vote any differently than the players? That's a tough one to figure out. I still like Draisaitl a lot, but it's harder to like. I guess it's easier to make a case for MacKinnon because like he does more to that team individually than maybe the sum of its parts. I don't know. It's a tough one for me to say who's going home with it, but man, I like MacKinnon so damn much. But
hit dynamite, man.
Like he should win one before he retires. More than one, maybe.
Oh yeah, I was about to say just one.
Is it going to be this year? I hope so. Is it fair? That's tricky. Draisaitl's had a pretty tremendous year. Like his stats aren't just good on his team relative to the league; they're amazing. So.
Oh yeah, and that's the same with me. I mean, I could see the Ted Lindsay Award going to Nathan MacKinnon, but I am definitely gonna have to say like Leon Draisaitl is going to take on the Hart.
Pretty cool to have some MVPs in Edmonton. Like don't screw this up, guys. Make it a 91-92 Pittsburgh situation. Like, let's go.
Yeah, for real, and build on that.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Bring a cup back to Canada, for God's sakes already.
Oh,
93?
man.
Jeez.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I know. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, they've got a pretty decent opponent in Chicago in this first play-in round, so we'll have to see about that.
That's true.
I mean, Chicago's always willing to steal.
This is how they'll steal it.
Yeah,
it's with the play-in round.
Oh yeah, and of course Edmonton gets the top draft pick. If history says it has anything to do with it.
That would just be so amazing.
All right, so on to the Selke Award. The Selke Award. This award is voted on members of the Professional Hockey Writers. It's given annually to the player. To the forward, voted best to excel in defensive play. So, our nominees this year are Patrice Bergeron from Boston, big shocker there.
Yeah.
Sean Couturier from Philadelphia, and Ryan O'Reilly in St. Louis. Who do you got and why?
I mean, if they'll call it the Patrice Bergeron Award maybe at some point. This guy, if he's not nominated every year, it's because he was injured for most of it, probably.
Yeah.
Like, you watch that guy play for Boston or Team Canada, he shuts people down. Like, oh my God, I hate that he plays for Boston so damn much, but God, I love that guy. Like, he is so good. So I like Bergeron because that's the measuring stick that you put everyone against, in my opinion. So that said, like I haven't looked into the stats. How's he doing in comparison to Couturier, for example?
I think Couturier has the worst plus minus out of all three of them.
So who do you like taking this home?
Well, obviously I do have a soft spot in my heart for the Boston Bruins. And I see that cringe every time that Vancouver Canuck hate runs deep.
Oh, it's so harsh.
Well, I mean, Patrice Bergeron, and I'll tell you right now, he is probably one of my top favorite players in this time. He is a generational talent, and I I still idolize Patrice Bergeron, even though I'm past that kind of like lovey-dovey state for hockey players. You're like
Oh, I
when you're a
do.
kid, you're like, oh man, I'm Patrice
I'm getting
Bergeron.
to the rink early so I can hope to get the puck from him at warm-ups.
Yeah, well, and I mean Ryan O'Reilly, he's always a solid case for the Selkie as well. When he played in Colorado, I loved his all-around game, his defensive mind, and not to mention his hockey IQ was off the charts.
Yeah, dude. So, like, let's recap. Ryan O'Reilly's been nominated for, like, every award but the Vezina at this point.
Pretty,
He is an all-around stud, isn't he?
I'm sure people were campaigning to get him the Jack Adams award. I mean, the man truly does eat, sleep, and breathe hockey. I mean, he really does.
What a great all-around player. Ryan O'Reilly, like, you are proving to be every team's centerpiece right now. You've got it all, man. In equal values. That's what I love.
And that's the thing. A Patrice Bergeron and a Ryan O'Reilly is a centerpiece that you need for a successful hockey team.
Yeah, they're not going to score the most goals. They're not going to rack up anything like over. They may not win in any category, or maybe they will. That's the thing. They're just that good. So.
And I really got to give it to Couturier.
Okay.
I got to give it to Couturier. I mean, his last few years, he's always been kind of touted as more of like a skilled forward, but he's really coming into his own as like a backbone piece of that Philadelphia Flyers team, just like we were saying.
Yeah, he's been a little bit of a later bloomer than some of these other prospects. I remember he came in pretty hotly touted, but he also didn't get to string together some consistent seasons because of injuries too. So
and
it's good to see him coming into his form and maturing.
Yeah, and I mean, you can say this for a lot of different hockey players. Sometimes you don't really find your niche in the sport until later.
That's a good point, Cody. Very good point.
And I think Sean Couturier is going to starting to round out a really good career. So yeah, I got to give it to Couturier.
Yeah, good call there.
All right, let's move on to the Vezina. This award, voted by the NHL general managers, is given annually to the goalie voted best at his position. This year we have Connor Hellebuyck from Winnipeg. You've got Tuukka Rask from Boston and Andrei Vasilevsky from Tampa Bay.
All right. So I'm curious, like, doesn't Rask split more time now in Boston than someone like Vasilevsky does in Tampa Bay?
Yeah, he does. Ever since the re-emergence, I should say, of Yaro Halak. I mean, I would almost sometimes even some nights even rather put Halak in than Rask.
So that comment right there maybe makes him not the winner this year.
I agree. And while we stick down, stick just fell down. Anyways, so and then we've got Andrei Vasilevsky, who has an extremely strong defense in front of him. They always will with a coach like John Cooper, and I mean Stevie Y, while he was there, always had strong defensemen. I mean Anton Strowman, Victor Hedman. I mean you've got Ryan McDonough. You know, and I mean, you've got a very strong defense down in Tampa Bay. But so this is what leads me to Hellebuyck is that, I mean, think about this. You've got Buckland leaving, and then you've got Trouba, who did not have that great of a year last season.
Right.
And not even a very good start this season. And then who else do you got? Lucas Spiza.
And then didn't someone go away to the Rangers in the offseason last season too? The point is, I think Winnipeg lost some defensemen.
Oh, they lost that. Yeah, that's my entire point is that they lost a lot on the back end.
And we have a Tampa Bay goalie nominated with a Tampa Bay defenseman for best defenseman, and we have a Boston goalie nominated with a Selkie candidate.
Yeah.
So you've got some like clearly amazing players at their respective positions as assistants. I'm not saying that they're not
doing
bad
everything.
goalies.
No, not by a long shot.
But you're saying it's more of a solo effort going on in Winnipeg.
When you want to kind of look at it, like, yeah, I mean, you lose a lot of experience with Buffalo off the back end.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Lucas Spiza, who, I mean, how many times have you called Spiza a pylon in your life? Too many times to count it.
Yeah, it's unfair, but
so, in my opinion, it's going to be Hellebuck.
Yeah, I like it.
And I mean, it's not like he's a slouch goaltender either.
No, he isn't. I mean, he's getting better every year. Is that fair? Like,
yeah, I think so.
Winnipeg threw a lot of money at him. He is now a nominee for the Vezina, so clearly he's doing fine.
Truly.
So, okay, I'm with you. You've convinced me again.
Yeah, and I mean, especially after those Western Conference Finals against, the Vegas Golden Knights, they could have easily won that. He's hot.
It'll be interesting.
And he's been I'm gonna go Hellebuck. All right, on to the Lady Byng Trophy. The Lady Byng. So this award, voted by the Professional Hockey Writers Association, is given annually to the NHL player who best combines sportsmanship, gentlemanly conduct, and ability. So our nominees are Nathan MacKinnon in Colorado, Austin Matthews in Toronto, and Ryan O'Reilly in St. Louis.
Oh, Ryan O'Reilly, shocker!
What a big surprise there.
Did he win it last year?
I mean, I think no, because I think he got snubbed for the Byng, but he did get the Selkie.
Okay, because like he went like 2 years ago, O'Reilly, from like a lot of penalty minutes to barely any, right?
Well, I mean, his first year in Colorado, he went the entire season with 2 penalty minutes. 2 penalty, and those were acquired in the last game of the season.
That's just like a ref trolling the stat sheet before the game starts.
Oh, Lady Byng, hey, well, check this out. 2 minutes for holding. Yeah, I can see that.
It reminds me of that baseball pitcher in Chicago White Sox who had like the perfect game canceled on because of a botch call by the ump on the last out.
Oh my God, yeah, I would have torn that.
All right, so like, is it O'Reilly? Because it can't be Matthews. Like, we should talk about that for a second. So
and this is the problem I have with Austin Matthews. I mean, the beginning of the season, he gets busted for harassing a security guard in his like neighborhood, drunkenly harassing, like pulling his pants down and freaking this lady out. And he missed a bit of like training camp because he had to deal with that. Obviously, no charges were filed. But how is that gentlemanly? How?
Is the award given to the person that makes the best change in behavior? No. Like, no, maybe since then he's been okay, but he didn't start off so great.
Well, gee, I wonder why, because he's on hot fucking ice, man.
Yeah.
I'm not
why
saying...
is he even nominated then?
Well, because there's not another Toronto Maple Leaf pretty much anywhere in sight here.
Truth. The East Coast bias, right? Todd Sawatsky.
Yeah. There you go, Todd. That's for you, bud. I don't see him being a gentlemanly player. Maybe he's turned his act around, but I mean, that's a blemish to me. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's a weird thing to have the same year you're nominated for an award that's the exact opposite of your behavior.
Yeah, and I mean, that entire summer, he's posted pictures of him just getting rip-roaring drunk. All summer with his, Pablo Escobar mustache and clothes. Just every picture, he just looks faded,
All right, so if he wins it, that's not good for anyone.
I'm calling kangaroo court on that.
All right, so then, do we like O'Reilly over... Fuck, I already forgot the other.
Nathan
MacKinnon.
See, here's what separates Nathan MacKinnon from Ryan O'Reilly, and I'm going to try my best to keep the bias, of course, out of it. But this whole year, Nathan MacKinnon you can tell all his work ethic has just gone up 50%. His work ethic, his attitude on the bench is clearly changed. I mean, last year you could see Ryan, Nathan McKinnon at sometimes kind of getting into it with Jared Bednar.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And like sometimes you get a camera shot of him on the bench, and he just like someone shit in his chair.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
he didn't hide those emotions as well as he is now.
I haven't seen hide nor hair of any of that kind of action this year. And another thing that sticks out to me is, I mean, let's be honest, his last contract, he was taken for a fool. He signed low after his initial entrance contract. Yeah. And when a reporter asked him about that, here was his response: I don't care. I'll take even lower money to stay here and win with the guys that are in that locker room.
Slow clap.
I mean, standing ovation a little bit.
Damn.
I mean,
Nova Scotia boys know how to say the right things. You're good people. Yeah, man. Like I'm. You get comments like that. It's like, well, all right. I'd let you date my daughter, I guess.
Right.
So, okay.
And I mean, how many times do you see a professional all-star, just like superstar?
That's true.
Saying, "I'll take less to win with these guys."
I mean,
I've got right
you
here.
do get the superstars tend to be the ones nominated for these awards because they're in the spotlight, which means how do they react in the spotlight? Better be gentlemanly, right?
Right.
So there's probably guys in this league. Shout out Tommy Winkles, buddy. Got the Sharks jersey on today. You were a stud your whole career, man. But because you didn't put up 50 goals a year, you're not getting that recognition like you should. So, like, within these high-profile guys that are nominated, give it to McKinnon, man.
Yeah, I mean, how many times are you going to hear that?
Right.
And I mean, if I got to really shout out to somebody else who would probably deserve the Lady Game, got to go Matty Calvert.
Oh, good one.
Matty Calvert. I mean, all his years in Columbus, he's gentlemanly as could be. And I mean, even this year, in the Vancouver game where he was knocked down to the ice, he's bleeding out of his head, and the referee would not blow the whistle. Even after that, once he got up, he didn't say one thing to the ref. And even when he was interviewed later about it, didn't say a snarky thing, didn't say anything gnarly about anyone, and he just went on and was extremely gentlemanly about it. So if I could, I agree with you with Tommy Wingles, but if it was for me, I'd go Matty Calvert.
Yeah, I like that. I like those classy guys like the Ian LePerriere who, when you're fighting him and your head without a helmet is going to hit the ice, he puts your hand behind your head so your head's going to be okay. Like, how those guys know how to do those things in those moments is split decisions. So clearly, base level, they're good people. So it's pretty dope to see those things.
Yeah, all while you're literally waging war against somebody's face, but you have the right mind to care for this guy's well-being in the future by doing something like that. That's with a lot of these superstars getting into this, a lot of that stuff does get overlooked, which is a shame. But
100%.
I mean, as far as this year goes, it's got to be the Kid Dynamite.
For sure.
All right, we've got one more. It is the Bill Masterton Trophy.
Okay.
All right. This award, voted by the members of the Professional Hockey Writers Association, is presented annually to the NHL player voted to best exemplify the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. Now, so this one runs deeper, definitely. So we've got Stephen Johns of Dallas. We've got Oskar Lindblom of Philadelphia. And we've got Bobby Ryan of Ottawa.
Okay, so this one is a little harder to do without knowing the stories of each player because it's really about overcoming and perseverance. And I need a little help here.
All right, so I'll take you back a little bit.
I know that Bobby Ryan's the alcoholism thing. Right?
Yeah, well, imagine to be. He did went into the drug
Okay, so
substance abuse program.
educate me and our listeners right now.
Well, Stephen Johns, he had a lot of post-traumatic headaches, and put him out for 22 weeks or 22 months.
Whoa.
Yeah, if I'm reading that correctly, yeah, I believe it was 22 months. He was supposed to be out. It was looking like he would never come back to hockey ever again. So what does he do? He comes back and he does all the rehab he can, and he will be playing again eventually soon. And then Oscar Lindblom was diagnosed with cancer, and he just recently beat that, by the way. Yep, he rang the bell. It was on the flyer, all over the Flyers page. Congrats to you, Oscar, and Steven, by the way. Yeah. And yeah, Bobby Ryan, he went into the substance and alcohol abuse program that the NHLPA has laid out. So with all of that in mind, who do you take?
Gosh. I mean, first of all, congratulations to all the nominees. You've obviously overcome some personal or medical or whatever issues to get you to where you're back closer and contributing to society again. So,
yeah, absolutely. Congrats to all three of you.
This is tricky. I think it's Oscar Lindblom because that guy, we've been hearing about his story, I think, a little bit more in the media than the other two guys. It's hard to say what's harder to do, overcome concussions, alcoholism, or cancer.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, how you overcome it is one thing, how you handle it and be an example for others is another. I only like to think that maybe Lindblom can be a better example because it's more of a communal thing that you go through. Maybe, I will say this about Ottawa: it's really nice to have Anderson get a shutout his first game back after his wife gets diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, absolutely.
Really good for Bobby Ryan to get a hat trick the first game back after he's in rehab. These are moments Ottawa needs a lot, but also it's good hockey moments. It shows the kind of power the sport has, and it's great. But I don't think you're going to win it, Bobby Ryan, and I don't think that's going to ruin the emotional state of Ottawa any more than it already has either. I'm going Philadelphia with this one.
I'm also going to go Oscar. I mean, cancer's huge. And I'm not trying to diminish any of the other things that these other players have gone through because I couldn't even imagine. I mean, we've all had our hardships, and there's no possible way I could diminish what they've accomplished and overcome. But I'm going to say Oscar as well.
Well, congratulations to all you guys, and
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I want to say. I want to congratulate all of these award finalists. I bid you good luck, and everybody who's playing in the playoffs, stay healthy and safe, and can't wait to see you guys back on the ice.
Amen to that, and also can't wait to see everybody back on the ice. We're getting closer to the beginning of that, and it's really nice to see low positive test numbers coming out of these bubbles and stuff. So I'm encouraged that this is really going to happen.
Yeah, hopefully it'll work out too, and especially after travel. That'll be a big thing too.
Yep.
Is after the travel, might see a little spike, but hopefully let's keep that to a very low minimum for everybody.
Cool.
And yeah, so congratulations to all of them, and thank you for listening to our quick little surprise episode. I'm sorry the other boys couldn't be here. This one was just a real quick go, and we just kind of set up and shot from the hip. So we hope you enjoyed, and as always, check out our YouTube channel, especially coming up after we are going to be covering the Dog Nation Dog Bowl 10. So we're going to have a lot of juicy footage for you on YouTube and obviously on the podcast. So keep listening, keep watching. Thank you guys so much for everything. Gratis for Delsidog and FOPA again. And what do you got to say, Daniel?
Thanks for listening, guys. It's great. We're getting more popular. We're closing in on that top 50 in the U.S. and iTunes in the States. And those kinds of classifications we'll take all day long. So thank you guys so much. Mercy Buckets. Really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. And tusen tack till Sverige. 58 i sportpodcasten. Tack så mycket.
What he said, and in Finnish.
In Finnish, okay, yeah. All right, check us out again on Friday. We've got a huge jam-packed episode then, so keep listening and have a lovely Monday afternoon.
Enjoy your week, guys.
See you guys later. Vihorsh.
We do the audible on JR.
Oh.
You're talking about. We could edit it in and be like, well, we're talking about classy. Do you want to talk about classless? Or do you want to keep
Let's save that for the next episode.
All right, cool.
Especially because we just did all this.